We're also seeing the first glimpse of where the 2020 race stands after last week's Democratic debate in Houston. And it seems like the frontrunners have solidified their spot at the top. A new poll from NBC News and the Wall Street Journal shows Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren both up since July, while Bernie Sanders holding steady in third. But maybe even more important, the poll paints the picture of an electorate that's actually pretty undecided and hungry for change. Less than 5 months before the first votes are cast, just 9% of voters say they have made up their minds. And 56% say they prefer a candidate who will propose large-scale policies that might be more expensive and harder to pass, but they will lead to greater change. NBC News national political correspondent and one of my all-time favorites, Steve Kornacki, is here to dig deeper into the numbers. What sticks out to you, Steve?
Couple things, Stephanie. You mentioned it. It is the fact that Elizabeth Warren, we've been talking for a long time here about, is it Warren, is it Sanders in second place, Biden clearly in first? Well, here in our poll, you see Elizabeth Warren clearly in second place, and notably, do the math here, Elizabeth Warren closer to first place in this poll, closer to Biden than she is to Sanders. So we have Warren attaining some separation from Sanders. Let's see if that keeps up in other polls that come out. Also, why is Warren surging right now? Two things. There is, if you did sort of a Venn diagram of Warren and Sanders supporters, there is some overlap. There has been some overlap. To the extent that overlap exists, Warren now seems to be getting the better of it from Sanders. And also there's this, Kamala Harris. Remember, earlier this summer, there were polls that had her moving up close to 20% after that first debate, all the way down to just 5% in our new poll. And Warren seems to be the main beneficiary of Kamala Harris's slide. So that's why she's at 25% there. This, I think, an important divide to keep an eye on. We talk about this a lot. White voters here, look at this. Elizabeth Warren now leading 28-27 over Biden among white voters. When you look at black voters, different story. Again, Biden continues to be far ahead here. Warren now actually moving into double digits. We haven't seen her before getting double digits among black voters. But why this divide is so crucial, think about this. The first two states that vote, Iowa and New Hampshire, overwhelmingly white states. If Warren were to win those two states, it does raise the question of Biden's black support, which would start to come into play when you get down to South Carolina. Would that support hold if Joe Biden can't hold off Elizabeth Warren in Iowa and New Hampshire? That's a formula we've seen before. That's how John Kerry got the nomination in 2004. You win Iowa, you win New Hampshire, and then you build support among African Americans and other constituencies after that. That's happened before, raises the question, Stephanie, if Elizabeth Warren might be setting herself up for something like that. And then the age divide. We've been talking about this one all campaign. It can be enormous. Bernie Sanders leading among voters under 35. Joe Biden trailing Andrew Yang among voters under 35. You flip it around to over 65. Biden far out in front. You don't even see Bernie Sanders' name here. He's at 3% there.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Joining the conversation, Victoria DeFrancesco Soto. She stayed for 4 hours to take selfies with supporters. Let's take a listen.
And, yeah, I was there 4 hours, but I'll tell you what, so was the last guy in line. And he's in. He's all the way in this fight.
What does that tell you about how she's running her campaign? Because those 4 hours of selfies, she didn't need to be at fundraisers. Though that's the greatest free advertising you could think of, because every person there taking a picture, is posting it on social.
It also kind of belies the central organizing principle of the Warren bid, which is enthusiasm, right? And it's expanding the base, and that's what she's doing. She's